Hello everyone, how you doing today? So today we're going to do a pick a card reading, and it's going to be on the question, well, it started out as the question, will I meet or will I get married soon? And I just couldn't bring myself, like every time I tried to do that, that card reading, for some reason it never ended well. So we're doing a little bit of a different question. I was trying to just find something that was going to, I don't know, I guess be more pertinent, I felt like. And the one that I came up with was, will we be happy together? I think that's kind of a more important question even than will you get married soon? Will you get married, in a near time frame? It's more of a question, will we be happy together? Will you meet someone new is kind of a question you can ask if you're looking to get married in the future, but like if you're already with someone. Am I making sense? I don't think I'm making sense. I think I've lost it. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, I'm done yammering. Done yammering. We're just going to go ahead and start this. So we have the Tarot of the Tzar, and we have, oh my gosh, what are you? Tiger's Eye. There we go. Tiger's Eye. We have Happy Tarot with some kind of agate that I can never remember the name of. And then we have Erotic Fantasy Tarot with the Amethyst. So, take a moment, take a deep breath, and whichever pile calls out to you, go ahead and pick that one. But I'll give you a minute to kind of decide. Alright, are we good? Hopefully we're good. Trying to organize my stuff in the background here. This is not working out well. There we go. We're going to call that good. So, for those of you who picked pile 1, we're obviously going to start with that one. Alright. We're actually going to put you little heart over here so that I kind of have room to do this. Because I decided to do a bigger spread because, it's kind of a big question whether or not you're going to be happy together kind of thing. Alright, so we're going to go over the first row here. And the first row we're going to focus on is kind of like the compatibility between you guys. So with your relationship, you want to look at things like, what are the past experiences that you've had in relationships that maybe you need to not bring into this one? Just kind of throwing it out there. So for that question, we have this card kind of representing that question, and it's the Knight of Pentacles. Now this Knight of Pentacles he's very smart, he's very almost, I would say, too protective of his financial state. And I just get the feeling that there was some money issues in the past relationship that you're kind of like, let's kind of avoid that. And it could be that, well, either they were spending money on you that you didn't like, or they weren't spending money on you that you wanted, or that kind of thing. Like, it could be any number of things, but that's kind of the feeling I'm getting from it. So that's something, though, to leave behind with past relationship. You don't want that baggage there anymore. So don't hold on to that. Go ahead and let that go. The next question is, what unites you? And this is the Lover's card. So this is fantastic. This is that relationship. What unites you is that give and take, that like he treats you like a queen, or she treats you like a king, like however or whatever the relationship dynamic is, treating each other with respect and not just being one-sided is extremely important. And so that's going to be the thing that keeps you guys together, that unites you guys, and keeps the relationship intact, really. Now the last card in this row is the question that we're kind of looking for is, are you both ready? And it does seem like you are. This is the Justice card. We have the balancing scales here, and the scales are perfectly balanced. There is this evenness. It seems that both of you guys are in the same place and you're like ready to go and continue, or I suppose the opposite is possible, that you're both ready to call it quits. I don't know. But either way, it's this signal that both of you guys are in the same place, that both of you guys are in balance with each other. So that's really good. All right, so we're going to move on to the second row here. If I can get my fingernail under these, there we go. So the first card we have in the second row is the Empress. And this is representing kind of who supports you in your relationship. And I get the feeling that this is a mother figure. I don't know if it's a mother. It seems to be a grandmother. Like, this seems to be a generational thing to me. That it's not your mother, but maybe your grandmother, or someone that you see as a grandmother. Someone close to your family. Now the next card is, of course, if we ask who supports, we need to ask who opposes the relationship. And this is the Queen of Chalices. This seems to be a mother. Very often I get this card when it's a mother reference. So that's what I suspect. Or if it's not a mother, maybe it's an aunt. Maybe there's just a close connection there. And there's just... I get the feeling that there's a feeling of jealousy. So for some of you that might be a thing. But the factors, this last card is kind of the factors that are causing stress or strain on the relationship potentially. And this is family. This is the star here. In this card we have the nativity scene, which in this case I think definitely represents family. So family on both sides, I feel like. It's not just one-sided. I feel like this is a both-sided thing where there's almost like maybe you guys are the black sheep of the family and you guys get along just fine, but not necessarily everybody else does, you know? So that's kind of the feeling I get from that card. But we'll call that good on the second row. Let's see what the third row has in store for you here. Alright, so this third row is kind of representative of, like, just your outcomes in the future here, right? So this is your future plans at kind of the time scale, and this is your future plans together actually seem very, very soon. You seem to be wanting to really connect together really soon. If this was really a question of marriage, I would feel like this card is telling me, yeah, you guys are going to get married soon. So I actually really, I don't know what the 3 is significant of, whether that's a 3-month or a 3-year, or I don't know, what do you consider soon? But that might be significant to some of you guys. The next one is representative of the short-term outcome of your relationship. And this is the 10 of Wands. This is very much a burden card. There is a lot of... You're going to go through a lot of struggles. You're going to go through a lot of difficulties in the first couple of years, I think. Just trying, and I highly suspect that this is a family thing again. You got to watch out for that family stuff. But this is temporary because this last card is representative of, there we go, your long-term outcome. And your long-term outcome is actually really good. This is... You have a beautiful understanding of each other, and a beautiful outcome in the long run. But what's funny about this is that this is the moon. I think I need to slow down a little bit. I keep tripping over my words. What I was trying to say was, this is the moon card, right? And in this particular deck, I think it's very victorious is kind of the word that comes to mind. There is victory in this card. That's the feeling I get. But it is still the moon card, and which leads me to believe that there is still a sense of mystery. And I think that sense of mystery, once again, it's connected, I think, to your family. I think your family is like, why are these people together? How are they? Why? I don't get it. And that's okay. They're allowed to be in that place. You are not in that place, and that's fine. As long as the two of you are together and you can make that work, then you're all good. So that's your long-term outcome. So it looks like you guys will have some bumpy roads, but you will absolutely have ultimately a very happy relationship together if you can kind of get over those rough patches in the beginning. All right, so we're going to call that good on pile 1. Hopefully you got something good out of that. That was a good one. I liked that one, actually. Pile 2 was this lovely, it begins with a D. D something agate. And I can't remember. It just is not coming to me. But it's a lovely white little heart. Look at that. With these lovely little inclusions of, I want to say that is actual like bits of moss kind of like embedded in there. So let's see what you have in your cards today. Literally, what do you have in your cards today? So we have the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, and the One of Cups. Sorry, I think that's the King of Swords. I'll be honest, this deck is a little bit hard to tell. Give me a second, let me see if I can... Yeah, that's the King. Sorry. Can you tell? Look at this. This is how they label these. Is little crowns, right? This is the Queen and this is the King. Like, that could be a queen. I can see that as potential queen, right? Anyhow, I love this deck and hate this deck all at the same time. I'm actually in the process of kind of like labeling them, but I don't know that I like the way I'm labeling them, so I don't know. I think I'm just going to have to suck it up and deal with it. Anyhow, so we have the Queen of Pentacles, the King of Swords, there we go, and the Ace of Cups. So this is representative of your compatibility together, just this first row here. And this first card represents kind of the things that, like previous negative experiences that you've had from other relationships maybe that you just need to get rid of. And I get the feeling that this is you comparing your current partner to a previous partner. Please, please, please don't ever do that. Oh my gosh, that is so hurtful to the other person. Don't compare your old relationships to your new ones. They might have had some things that were great in the past, but honestly, if you had cared that much about them in the first place, then you'd still be with them. Or if it was meant to be in the first place, you would still be with them. You wouldn't, just move on. Just move on. It's not okay to look at the attributes, physical, mental, emotional, whatever, of the previous relationship and then bring that into your current relationship. Not okay. Don't do it. All right? All right. Glad we had this talk. Okay. Moving on. This is what unites you. And this is actually really interesting because the King of Swords is very stable. I think this is the masculine And it doesn't mean that it's the guy in the relationship. It can be the female. It's kind of whoever has the masculine energy. But whoever has that masculine energy, there is this feeling of solidity, of just stability. There we go. That's a better word. Stability. And speaking of stable, I keep shaking my camera today. I'm sorry. Making you guys seasick. There's a sense of stability in this other person, in this masculine energy. And I think that's what is needed in the relationship. One of you is kind of more stable. I suspect it's the other person that's a little bit more stable, and you're the one that's a little bit more flighty. But it could be the other way around. It could be that maybe this is not you that needs to shed the past relationships or the idea of past relationships. Maybe this is the other person that needs to shed the idea of past relationships. Maybe you're the stable one. Who knows? Whichever one you feel applies to you, I mean, go with it. This is a general reading, so, it can't be 100% on each individual person here, but that's kind of the feeling, the overall feeling I get, is that one of you is holding on to past relationships and things about past relationships that they shouldn't. And then the other of you is the stabling factor. Very loyal, very I can't think of another term that's better suited than loyal. There's so few people out there, I feel like, that have that loyalty, that desire to be with you, to be with you through thick and thin and make it to the end. Loyalty is not as admired, I think, as it once was. It used to be kind of a big deal, and now it's not as much. But that's my own personal opinion on things, and I digress. So, we'll move on to the next card, which is representative of whether or not both of you are ready to make this relationship work. And this is, an explosion of heck yeah, look at that. That is the happiest friggin' cloud ever. There is so much, like, we're ready to go, we're happy together, we want to make this a permanent thing. This is a big, resounding yes. So, I really like that you guys both seem to be on the same page with that, at least. So that's good. I'm going to come back here. Actually, I was going to do the second row, but I just got a little bit of a, mental tap on the shoulder that there was something I was missing. There is somebody in a relationship right now that's getting this reading that is all gung-ho for the relationship. They are all gung-ho. But the significant other is actually not. So I was my attention was brought to this bird with this, it looks like what is it, like the Red Cross symbol, right? It's like there's this emotional damage that's kind of preventing them from fully enjoying the potential of this relationship. So I don't think that's for most of you. I think this is somebody specific, or maybe a couple of people, I don't know, but whatever the situation is, I don't think it's the majority. But I think there's some of you that you're all gung-ho, one of you is ready to go, and the other is not, because of injury, of emotional baggage from the past, that kind of thing. So, just had to kind of keep that in mind and bring that to your attention, because honestly, I get these thoughts as I'm going along, and I try to incorporate as many people as I can in this. So if I get the message that this needs to be noticed or needs to be mentioned, then I try to do it. Anyhow, let's continue on to row 2. Now this is the fun row, because this is the outside influences. This is family or friends. we have the first card represents who supports the relationship. So this is justice. There is somebody who feels like this relationship has been a long time coming. So they are trying, like not trying, but they are very excited that you guys are finally getting together. But I get the feeling, because it's in reverse, I get the feeling that this is actually a friend as opposed to a family member. I could be wrong on that, or it could be a cousin or somebody that's not necessarily part of the close-knit group, but still someone you are close to. I don't know if that makes any sense. They're not like the innermost circle of family, but they are still important in your life. That's what I was trying to say. Okay. So this is who opposes the relationship. Everybody? This is, your family doesn't seem to be particularly happy with the relationship. And some of them seem to be really, like, confused as to why you guys are getting together. Yeah, they're not thrilled with things. And I don't know if it's the whole family. It seems like the whole family. This seems to be like everybody, but it could just be, it could be a situation where one or two of the major foundational people, I guess you can say, if they are the ones that have that sway amongst the rest of the family, they can badmouth the relationship, even though the rest of the family may not necessarily agree. They might be trying to appease the matriarch or the patriarch in the family. But in general, there seems to be an overall dislike of that relationship. So the last card here in this row is, what are the external factors that are causing stress on the relationship? And this is, for some of you, this seems to be children. This seems to be an actual child, either from a previous relationship, or this is maybe you guys one of you doesn't want to have children and the other does. So I think that's the case for some of you. For the rest of you, I feel like this is just, there's a sense of immaturity and there is not taking the relationship seriously enough. But that kind of goes back to what I was saying before, with one of you seems to be the stable one of you seems to kind of have attachments to previous relationships. And so I suspect that immaturity is connected to not being able to let go of the past relationships and move on. So, things to keep in mind, people, when you're in relationships. Past baggage has a huge role. Family has a huge role. It's a lot to take in. Alright. This last row is the general outcome of the relationship. Okay. So, the future plans and the timescale of things, like, you guys are gonna be ready to go and like, I get the feeling that you're going to want to be together soon. That you're kind of like, okay, let's just do this. But this next card kind of worries me, because we literally have, this is the 8 of Cups, which is travel, leaving something behind. And it could potentially be a situation where the leaving behind is that first situation, that first card where it's a previous relationship, then they're kind of too obsessed with it still. It could be that person is finally going, okay, I'm going to grow up, I'm going to mature up, and I'm going to move on from that, and I'm going to focus strictly on this relationship. That could be the case for some of you. For others, I see this as a separation. This is not going to last. And with that, that's being the short term. The long term is there is going to be this juggling. You're going to have to balance, like if you have kids, you're going to have to balance finances, and you're going to have to balance, who spends how much time with the kids and all these things. So there's a lot of factors here. But I will be honest with pile 2, even though this is Happy Tarot, I do not see this ending happily. So, sorry pile 2. You might luck out of that one, but... And don't forget, like, energies change. Everything has the potential to change. Nothing is set in stone. And if you can keep in mind that you have the ability to change that energy, to change, if you see problems arising, if you can find a way to change the energy to make things work out, then that's entirely possible. Don't ever think that any of this is set in stone. Okay? Alright, speaking of stones, our last stone here, or crystal, whatever you want to call it, the amethyst. And why do I keep wanting to put it there? I really like it there visually, but I can't work all the cards there. I need that space. It's a short table. Okay. Alright, so what we have is, for pile 3, this first row represents your compatibility. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the compatibility issues here. So the first card represents previous negative experiences, baggage from previous relationships, that kind of thing. And this is the Queen of Cups. Now in this particular deck, the Queen of Cups, this is like such a feeling of dissatisfaction. Just, her cup is empty, and it feels like she is constantly in a state of like needing more than what is being given. So the previous relationship, I feel like, kind of drained you dry. Like there was such an emotional balance, or imbalance rather, that you kind of just were burnt out on it. And that's never a fun place to be in. So don't bring that baggage into this relationship if you can avoid it, okay? Now the next card represents what unites you. Fun card, huh? This, though, is also the wheel. And I love that this is, to me, it talks about not just the passions you have for each other, but of having that balance of passions. What I was saying before is, in this relationship, the previous relationship, the previous baggage, there was an imbalance in giving, or an imbalance in the relationship. To one of you felt really nourished and the other really didn't, or maybe neither one of you did, I don't know. But either way, what is going to keep this relationship together is having that balance, having that give and take as evenly and as equally as possible. It's a difficult thing to do in a relationship, but you do the best you can, and if you can manage to keep that balance, that will keep you guys going. It'll be amazing. So, keep that in mind. The next one is, are both of you ready for this relationship? And the answer is no. No, one of you is kind of looking out to the potential freedoms and ignoring what is right in front of them. There's a longing for freedom, or what they see as freedom, and completely ignoring what's in front of them. But they also don't want to let go of you, they don't necessarily want to let go of the relationship. So there's this kind of like this pull in two different directions for them. And that needs to get sorted out, sweetheart. You cannot start a relationship with that. I'm sorry. All right, so let's take a look at the next row here. So this is really interesting because we have, this is the external factors of the relationship, so family and friends and that kind of thing. So this first card represents who supports you, and it seems like you have a lot of support. You have a lot of people that are like ready for you guys to be together finally. And that's great. They're like ready for you to just, at this point they're going, why are they not married yet? They're just rolling their eyes going, why? Why are they just need to do this? You get my point though. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so sorry. My alarm just went off and completely lost track of where I was. Yes, okay, so what I was saying is this card represents the people who approve of the relationship or are supportive of it, rather. And there's a lot of people got your back on this relationship. Now, this represents a lot of people, wow. This represents the people who don't have your support or don't have, wow, words are hard apparently. That alarm just completely threw me off. This represents a person who isn't supportive of the relationship, all right? And this seems to be someone who is potentially, this is somebody that has a strong influence in your life in general, that you think the world of them, and you're actually really upset that they don't really approve of this. So, and I get the feeling, because this also is the external, this next card is the external factors that kind of have the potential to make this relationship difficult. This, I would not be surprised if this is a mother. This is just kind of that, we have the Queen of Swords is a sharp wit, very, how do I put this? Honest, and perhaps too honest at times, like doesn't know when to not say something sometimes. So this might, I feel like this is probably a mother or a mother figure that you're very close to, and you just don't, she just doesn't approve. So that's rough, especially if it's like a mother-son relationship. Oh, those are rough. Those are kind of hard to overcome. All right, so we'll move on to the last row here. And this last row represents like the outcome of the relationship. So first and foremost, this first card in this last row here is representative of future plans and kind of the time scale of things. And this is the Ten of Swords, which is like one of the most depressing cards in the entire tarot. We have someone who is either influencing things, the relationship or plans in a negative way, or circumstances, external circumstances are kind of preventing plans from happening. So you're going to really struggle to get things going and really struggle to kind of, okay, we're just trying to get things done. We're just trying to make it all work. And there's like one problem after another. That's kind of that card. So that's a rough one. But here's the thing. In the near future, once you actually kind of overcome that, there will be a period of, all right, we're finally together, or like this is the, things have finally fallen into place where you go, okay, we have a new start to things. We can make a new life together. We have this amazing life in front of us, and we're just at the beginning. So that's kind of, you will have a period of time that will be exactly like that feeling of, man, we're starting our lives together finally. So that's the near future. Now you look further out, and it gets a little bit muddled. This is... the feeling I get is that this is kind of the energy or the attraction to each other has kind of died down a little bit. I mean, you've now been together for a little while, and you're like, okay, they're not as interesting as they used to be, you know, that kind of thing. I don't see necessarily a separation, but I see that there's just boredom, and that you guys end up kind of being in different places in your lives, even though you are married or together. You kind of end up being in your own little world. And I think that's probably something that has the potential to be fixed, but this is like not being shown right now. This is a situation where it depends very much on what your energies are, what you put into the relationship. Like none of this, this is literally what I was saying in the previous pile, was that none of this is set in stone. None of this is permanent. You have to realize that energies constantly change, and as things change, you kind of constantly need to check in and check up and go, okay, where are we now? Are we going in a more positive direction? If you see problems arising, are you quick to take care of them and clean up the messes and deal with issues? Or do you just ignore them and go on your merry way? And that could cause a huge problem in the future for you guys. So, like I said, nothing's set in stone, but be aware of what's going on. Try to tune into your relationship frequently. Tune into your partner frequently. And make adjustments as needed. The sooner you kind of catch things, I think the easier they are to handle, generally speaking. So, we're going to call that good on pile 3. I really do hope you guys got something out of that. If nothing else, hopefully it was entertaining for you. But as always, take care of yourselves, take care of those you love, take care of your relationships. And I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye.